Hi, I'm Trevor Lund of RevTrev.com, and in this week's episode of RevTrev TV, we are continuing our discussion with Bev Fawcett of Hope in Christ Ministries. And the topic of this episode is, why does Hope in Christ Ministries exist? Bev, tell me
Yeah.
about your ministry. How long has it been in existence? Let's start there. How long have
In
you guys?
2000, 2005, I'd always done ministry. I rededicated my life to Christ at the age of 30 and always did ministry, no matter which church I was in or no matter where I went, people would ask me if I would take over women's ministries, if I would preach, if I would speak to the youth, whatever it was. I've been on church boards. I've done all kinds of stuff, worked with Women's Aglow over the years and March for Jesus. Everybody remembers those things.
Mhm.
But didn't want to start a full-time ministry until my children were raised.
Mhm.
And when my daughter got in grade 11, I finally felt the freedom to start moving this thing forward. And I had been starting to work on it before then. So I prayed about it, felt God um, released me to go and start my own ministry, and contacted a friend who had a similar ministry that was out preaching and teaching and doing those kinds of things. And she put me in contact with a lawyer so I could start a society first, Open Christ Ministries. And then I went for charitable status and got that as well. So we're up and running now. But like I say, for a few years now, right?
Yeah. Now, one of the things I do with Expectancy Ministries is I coach ministries as they're starting up. And I don't have all the answers, but
Yeah.
I've helped with enough people do a lot of things and I just caught a few things that you said there that people who are listening to this would want to know. Like, what would you say to anyone thinking about starting a ministry? Here's what I heard you said. Yeah, you said you waited till your kids grew up. You
Yes.
prayed about it. You contacted a friend. Any other points? If someone else is thinking like I'm called to this ministry, I'm called to do it. What other advice do you have for them?
Well, the Bible talks about there's wisdom in the multitude of counsel. So I sought out a lot of advice, of course.
Hmm.
I went to some of the ministers at my church and that oversee me and consulted with them to ask them if this was a good idea and would I get support. I don't want to ever feel like I'm out there doing stuff on my own. I want to know that godly people support this.
Yeah.
And everybody seeing what I was doing with my life anyway, I was already doing ministry. It was just the next step sort of thing,
Hmm.
supported me in doing that. There were times when I wanted to quit probably and felt, well, like, should I be doing all of this? And I didn't have the knowledge. I would pray even before I would go to the lawyers because I didn't know what I was doing. But, God led me very gently through each step. And I really do believe, though, you have to be called.
Yeah.
A lot of people can go out and do ministry, but if their hearts aren't fully in it, they get wearied very fast. And we have to realize that no matter what we do, if we're doing it as unto Christ, not as unto people, because people can weary you, as you know, Trevor,
Hmm.
in ministry. But if God is with you and He's propelling this thing forward, there won't be anything too big that you can't handle. But I do believe, like, people can come to people like yourself and to people that have done ministry and that have gone before them. The road is already paved, and they have some good wisdom to give to people that are starting out, right?
Yeah. What talk to us about Hope in Christ Ministries. What are some of the things you do? What's your focus? What's your plans for the immediate future? Whatever you like to share.
Well, I started the ministry because, like, I seen a need everywhere I went. I basically, I would go minister, and I seen such a cry from people's hearts, from outside the church as well as in,
Mm.
that wanting answers to their life and just so keyed up with things that they were dealing with that I thought we need to be a body of encouragers. And so I believe that's my ministry. I believe my ministry is to encourage people. Um, to basically seek God and find Him to be the answer, to go
Mm.
after God. And I also, my mission statement basically is to help others prepare for eternity.
Mm.
We all look at the signs around us and feel like time is winding down. But I know for me, I want to know that I'm eternally secure, that God is, there's something after this, that I'm going towards something. And I believe that we have the message that saves lives, and not just for eternity, but here right now. I believe once you discover that God created you for great purpose and destiny, and that He's got great plans for your life. He means for you to do, great things with your life. Even if that's a mom at home, it's still big in His sight. And it can be very rewarding. So that's the message. Especially to Christians, for me, I'm trying to get people up and moving, knowing that God has created them for more. Just don't be a pew warmer. Get up and do something, even if it's going through Tim's to bless the young girl at the window, to be able to have the power to change that life as you're going by, right?
Man, it's so true. I mean, you're encouraging me just talking here. You got the gift. I love it. What are some of the things you do? Like, okay. Now I'm thinking as a pastor. I want you to come in. How do I get into, like, what are you going to do to my church if you come in?
Well, the message of encouragement, for starters, and God has really laid upon my heart this year to speak about, desiring His presence, because it's in His presence. When the glory of the Lord comes, it's when we're changed. We can't do this stuff on our own.
Yeah.
So if I'm coming to your church, I am coming with a message that, you don't have to be everything. God is everything. But you just put your trust in Him, for Him to be able to use you, to awaken your spirit, to know that He's created you. Everybody has something that God can use. And that if we get into the presence of God, if we invite God into our life, into our circumstances, then we're going to see God use our words, I believe, to bring life, to use our touch to have the power to heal, to use our steps to lead other people right into eternity, and most of all, though, to be able to use our compassion, our tears, to win souls, because it's when we really start to pray for others and care about them the way Jesus does, that we will win, those around us. But the ministry itself, that's what I do when I go to churches. To bring that word of hope to everybody, including the pastor. Some people get very wearied with ministry, but to try to infuse passion again for people to get up and move. But I'm also doing with my ministry right now, I'm getting outside the church walls. We do every year, we help with Santa packs for the homeless that goes to the Center of Hope here, and we do all the meal tickets. I raise all the money to do 250 McDonald's gift cards for food for them. And this year I'm actually putting on a Christmas music concert at the theater here with just local talent, but all the proceeds are going to 4 charities. We're just going to give it all away. It's nothing about us, but just to let people know that we love them the way that God does. So that's the kinds of stuff that I'm doing, just reaching out to show that our actions measure up to our words, because sometimes we can talk big, but it doesn't mean much.
That's awesome. So you're doing the organizing so that you can bless other ministries that are going on, right? Like that's
Yeah. Yeah.
That's kingdom.
Yeah.
That's great. How far do you? I know you're traveling different places. How far have you traveled? How far are you willing to travel? Where have you gone? Are you booked way far in advance, or do you know what's going on?
No, I book from time to time for different places. It hasn't been hectic, but I think that's God's pace for me, because otherwise, with all that I'm doing, it would be overwhelming. But like, I'm flying to Toronto this week, then on to Newfoundland. I'll be preaching at a church there. I'm also doing a women's night for one of the churches there. So things like that. Wherever I go, I usually speak or get up and give a word of encouragement, whatever. I do women's retreats. I do youth events. I've spoken to youth all over Alberta, things like that. But I've spoken at conferences in Newfoundland. I've been I've been asked to go to 4 different countries, and I haven't gone yet because I haven't felt God's released to do that. But there will come a time, I'm sure, when because I've even had pastors from the Philippines put money in my purse, say, "Fine,
Oh wow.
you're to come down the road." So but I just haven't felt. I've tried. We decided to do a trip there a couple years ago, and then something came up family wise. I couldn't go, so I thought, Lord, this is not your timing. Who knows what God will do? I'm just You know, my biggest thing in life, whether it's ministry or just personal life, is trying to just be faithful in the little things every day to day, doing what God puts in front of me. And I don't think Christianity is a sudden mounting up with wings. I think God just rewards our faithfulness and our
Hmm.
obedience. And so that's what I'm seeing in my life as these doors are opening for me, right?
That is so awesome. And Bev, you as I said before, you have really encouraged me, and I know you'll be encouraging others who hear this. And just God bless you in everything you set your hand to. I know that you're listening to His voice. I know that you're doing what He says, and just multiply the blessings upon you and through you, and it's just going to be returned every time it comes to you. So that's just it's awesome. Thank you so
Well,
much
I
for
want
thanks
to,
thank
yes.
you yeah thank you so much for being a guest, and really appreciate that.
But Trevor, I want to say to you on your TV show, basically, or on the internet, that thanks to you that have encouraged me many times too. You're saying this to me, but without your help, I wouldn't have a book out there. I wouldn't be doing any of this. And God uses each of us, I think, and He used you in my life to bless me and my family. So thank you so much too.
Well, I appreciate that too. It's like that's I think we have the same ministry, different ways of doing it. It's just awesome.
That's
God
great.
bless you so much, and we'll be in touch soon. I can't wait for the launch of your next book. So if people want to get in touch with you, hopeinchrist.info,
Yes.
and I'm sure people will. God bless you.
Thank you, Trevor.
Take care.
Have a great evening. Bye
Okay,
bye.
bye.
This episode has been brought to you by Expectancy Press, resources that impart hope and empower destiny. What do you do when bad things happen? You can thrive with the Live Positively resources at revtrev.com.